On October 20th, 2009, numerous frantic calls were made to the Peoria Police Department in Arizona reporting a hit-and-run incident in the parking lot of the Economic Security Administration building. The callers mentioned that the incident had left two women severely injured and unable to move. Police and emergency units rushed to the scene and found the two injured women. Unfortunately, despite their serious injuries, they were alive and were immediately transported to the hospital. Investigators identified the victims through their official documents. The victims were Noor al-Maleki, a 20-year-old woman, and Amal Khalaf, a 43-year-old woman, both of Iraqi nationality. Was this just an accidental incident, or was it a deliberate crime? Will the women survive this horrific event to tell the investigators their side of the story? In this video, we will tell you the full story so you can answer all these questions yourself. So don't miss watching this video until the end. Investigators questioned several eyewitnesses who were in the parking lot of the Economic Security building. Through their testimonies, the investigators learned that a silver car had sped recklessly toward the two women before the driver fled the scene. The investigators saw tire marks left by the car at the scene, and they also found a damaged tree that the car appeared to have hit while fleeing. The investigators consulted some experts to reassess the incident. According to the experts who reviewed the crime scene and the victims' injuries, the car that hit them was traveling between 25 and 30 miles per hour. This high speed, especially in a busy parking lot, further convinced the investigators that it was more likely a murder than an accidental incident. Noor suffered from broken bones and severe brain injuries and was placed in intensive care. Amal's injuries were less severe. The 40-year-old woman had a broken pelvis and some other bruises. Investigators learned that the victim's family had immigrated to the United States from Iraq in the 1990s. Noor was the eldest of 6 children. Her father Fallah al-Maleki worked as a truck driver, and her mother Siham worked as a military translator for the U.S. Armed Forces. Although Noor al-Maleki's family was very close to Amal's family, conflict quickly arose between the two families. The main reason was that Amal and her family had fully adopted Western culture, while Fallah and Siham were more closely tied to traditional Iraqi culture. Investigators learned through interviews with several of Noor's close friends that she wanted to be independent from her family and live a Western lifestyle. This desire was the source of the conflict between the al-Maleki family and Amal's family, as Noor's parents believed that Amal was responsible for their daughter turning against them in this way. The most important witness the investigators interviewed was Marwan, Amal Khalaf's 19-year-old son, who was very close to Noor as they were dating. Marwan explained to the investigators that Fallah al-Maleki believed his daughter was bringing shame to the family through her behavior, which imitated that of American youth her age, including open relationships with males or dating outside of marriage. For the Khalaf family, who had fully embraced American culture, this was acceptable. Thus, Noor turned to the Khalaf family, especially Amal, who took her in and treated her like a daughter. At that time, Noor began dating Marwan, and her father was furious when he found out about the relationship. Arguments became the norm in Noor's relationship with her father after that, as Fallah insisted that his daughter break up with Marwan, while Noor felt she was completely free to make that decision. After one argument in February 2009, Noor left her family home and moved into an apartment with a friend, taking her first steps toward independence. She enrolled in a local community college and managed to get a job as a waitress at a restaurant. However, this situation did not last long, as Fallah soon found her and forced her to quit her job and return home. At that stage, the arguments between Noor and Fallah intensified, with Fallah constantly accusing her of dishonoring the family with her actions and bringing him disgrace and shame. Marwan's testimony was pivotal in the investigations, as he was the first to point the finger at Fallah al-Maleki, who quickly became the main suspect in the case. Investigators reviewed Noor's phone records and discovered a series of text messages she had sent to a friend, expressing her dissatisfaction with her father, whom she described as very evil, further increasing their suspicions of Fallah al-Maleki's involvement in the incident. A few hours after the incident, Amal regained consciousness and was ready to talk to the investigators. Her testimony was crucial in proving Fallah's involvement in the crime. She explained to the investigators that she had gone to the Economic Security Building to submit a change of address form and had asked Noor to accompany her to help with translation. While they were there, Noor became shocked and terrified when Fala entered the place and gave them a look that indicated he had malicious intent towards them. This was why Noor sent a text message expressing her fear of her father to one of her friends. Amal told the investigators that she tried to calm Noor down, but the girl appeared extremely scared. When they exited to the parking lot, Amal saw a silver SUV speeding towards them. Although the driver gave them no chance to escape, Amal got a good look at the driver, who was none other than Fala. She noted that she saw a look of anger and vengeance in his eyes as he drove towards them. Amal was hit first, her body flung away from the vehicle, while Noor was run over by the SUV, resulting in more severe injuries for her than for Amal. Based on this information, the investigators obtained a court order to track Fala's phone. On the day of the crime, they learned from phone records that Fala had stayed in the parking lot for 45 minutes, which coincided with the time of the incident. Consequently, an arrest warrant was issued for Fala, but the investigators couldn't find him at his home in Glendale. It was clear that Fala knew the police would come for him, so he had fled to an unknown location. The investigators feared that Fala might return to the hospital to finish his mission and end the lives of both his daughter and Amal, who were still under medical care. Therefore, a special security team was deployed at the hospital to ensure the victim's safety. The investigators also spoke with Fala's wife, Siham, who did not condemn her husband's actions at all, suggesting that her daughter got what she deserved. Siham blamed Amal and her family for the situation, calling them a filthy and corrupt family. As they continued their efforts to capture Fala, the investigators delved into the troubled past of the al-Maliki family. They discovered that the conflict between Fala and his daughter dated back to 2007 when he first found out that she was in a romantic relationship with Marwan, Amal's son. In response, Fala pulled his daughter out of high school and tricked her into traveling to Iraq under the pretense of visiting a sick relative. Once Noor arrived in Iraq, she realized she had been deceived by her father, who had brought her there to force her into marrying a relative, believing that was the only way to correct her behavior and restore her honor after being influenced by Western culture. Investigators did not know exactly how Noor's marriage in Iraq ended, but it certainly didn't last long, and soon Noor found her way back to the United States. In 2009, the young Iraqi woman resumed dating Marwan, which drove her father mad when he found out. That same year, a fight broke out between Noor and her father, resulting in Noor being physically assaulted, forcing her to leave home and seek refuge with Amal's family. Her father followed her there, demanding Amal's family return his daughter or face dire consequences. Amal's family called the police, but that did not deter Fala, who clashed with the officers and told them that American laws did not apply to him or his family. The investigators intensified their search for Fala across the country, notifying airports, seaports, and border crossings to check if he had fled the country. Their efforts paid off when they found Fala's car in Mexico. They confirmed the car's identity by matching DNA from tissues found in the vehicle with Noor's DNA. The hunt for Fala continued, and on October 7th, officials at Gatwick Airport in England reported that Fala had disembarked from a plane there. Being on the international police list, he was arrested and placed on the first flight back to the United States. Initially, Fala tried to portray the incident as an accident, but after investigators pressed him and presented an expert's testimony about the reckless speed at which he was driving in the parking lot, he broke down and confessed that he intended to harm the victims, blaming his daughter for forcing him into the act after his efforts to correct her behavior failed. Fala was still awaiting trial when Noor al-Maliki was officially declared dead on November 2, 2009, and he faced court on murder charges. Proceedings began in January 2011, with Fala charged with first-degree murder of his daughter, Noor al-Maliki, aggravated assault on Amal Khalif, and a third charge related to destroying public property at the crime scene. Ultimately, Fala was convicted of second-degree murder after the jury concluded he did not plan to kill Noor but intended to threaten and severely harm the victims. So he was sentenced to 43 years in prison. The case of Noor al-Maliki received unprecedented media attention, particularly in the state of Arizona and throughout the United States. Opinions among those following the case were divided. Some sympathized with Noor, a young woman who lost her life in a horrific manner, while others sided with her father, who was, in some way, trying to defend his customs, traditions, and personal culture. What do you think? Was Noor truly a victim of her father's oppressive views and outdated mindset? Or did she get what she deserved, as her mother Siham and her siblings believe? Don't forget to share your opinions in the comments below, and remember to support the video by liking it and subscribing to the channel to stay updated.